The monkey trial, also known as the Scopes trial, was a law case between John Thomas Scopes and the state of Tennessee. It happened in 1925 when George Rapelier, a 31-year-old New Yorker and a local mine manager, walked into a drugstore and found a newspaper from the American Civil Liberties Union with an announcement saying that the ACLU are willing to give services to anyone who wants to challenge the new Tennessee anti-evolution statute. Rapelier, a modernist and someone who had contempt for the new law, argued with other town leaders that a trial would be a good way to get Dayton on the map and increase its population that had been dropping the previous years. The conspirators then contracted John Scopes, a high school teacher in Dayton, who had been teaching his students the theory of evolution, which was against the new law. They asked Scopes to challenge this new law, and he agreed. There were tight social circles of the old Victorians who had a traditionally mentally, and there were the youthful modernists who believed in the open-minded intellect and the development of society. This is why when Darwin published his theory of evolution, the Western world was shaken, and there were many conflicts between people's ideals. All in all, the meaning of the trial was not so much whether John Scopes, who was found guilty or innocent of violating Tennessee anti-evolution statute, but it was the argument of social and intellect values, and whether America should stick to its traditional values and roots or not. Should it be dominated by modern culture?
The success of this trial is that it signifies the beginning of a new era of modernization instead of being bound by the Christian traditions of early white Europeans, and that people now have a different perspective on society, and they are more open towards modernization and industrialization so technology can improve and developments can be made to modern society. This trial was a crucial event in the 1920s since it was a part of the influence of modern America. Lawyers. Clarence Darrow was the brilliant lawyer defending John Scopes, who, if you will remember, was accused of violating the anti-evolution law. Born on 18th April 1857, he studied law in the University of Michigan Law School. He died on March 13, 1938. He supported Williams's presidential candidate, but he did not support Williams's spiritual belief. The plaintiff lawyer, William Jennings, was born on March 19, 1860, and died on the 26th of July 1925, just 5 days after the end of the trial. He was publicly humiliated by Clarence Darrow in court and fell into a deep depression after the trial ended.
Leading the prosecutors, and Clarence Darrow was the lawyer who led the defending party. On the first day of the trial, nearly 1,000 people attended. The judge of the trial was John Ralston, who was a Christian and craved publicity, and when the proceedings opened, the trial started with a prayer against Darrow's objections. The opening statements were very dramatic. Jennings Bryan claimed, "If evolution wins, Christianity goes," and Darrow argued that Scopes isn't on trial, civilization is. During the entire trial, the number of people who attended swelled to 5,000, and Judge Ralston was constantly biased against Darrow, although he presented better arguments than Jennings Bryan, who was a very well-acclaimed lawyer in the 1920s. The trial ended with a victory for Darrow in theory, but in technicality, Jennings Bryan had won because it was a clear violation of the law to teach the theory of evolution to students in state-funded schools in Tennessee. John Scopes was fined US $100. 5 days after the end of the monkey trial, Jennings Bryan had died in his sleep. Slowly but surely, science classes in schools were being restored, and anti-evolution forces faced a huge setback. 4 interesting facts about the trial was that firstly, it was the first United States trial to be broadcasted on national radio, and secondly, it was covered by famous journalists such as H.L. Mencken for the Baltimore Sun. And thirdly, it was the most famous law trial in the world, and it was the most joked about trial. And lastly, John Scopes was only charged a $100 fine. This is equivalent to about $1,000 in the 1920s due to hyperinflation.
Overall, we feel that this trial was very significant to America's progress in the 1920s and helping it to develop to be what it is right now.